but I think there's approximately like 3,000 to 5,000 land investors that are doing at least one deal per year.
Yeah.
There's probably like 300 or 400 that are doing it at any reasonable scale. Only 4% of all the land in America is like metro land. And so we just have a ton of raw land in this country. So
Hello, you're listening to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Brandon Elliott. This show will be going over all aspects of real estate investing and is intended to educate, motivate, and prepare you to take action on your first or next real estate investment. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone, to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Brandon Elliott. I'm excited to have Sumner on today. Been in the game since, 2019, started doing land flipping. The last 7 years doing it. Like this year doing 144 deals. Profit margins 20K plus on gross. What's really cool is the average amount of days on market to be able to flip dirt, flip land, right? Not having to get your hands dirty and doing all the crazy nonsense of remodels and everything. It's just 21 days. So pretty incredible. He's got a data business as well for a SaaS company, a SaaS tool for land insights. Got a cold calling business, a community as well, making a huge impact in the land flipping space. So this is going to be an awesome episode. I'm excited to have you on, brother, to be able to really break down what you've been able to accomplish, but also such a space that obviously it's getting more and more populated, but there's still so many people out there that have no idea how to do it, the ins and outs. This is pretty cool. The last 2 years, you've been traveling back and forth between Cali and Bali. And so home is Bali at this point, but you are here in San Diego right now. We should have done this in person. Next time we will. We'll do it in Bali next time. But I'm excited to have you on, brother. How we doing today?
great, man. No, I'm fired up. This is super exciting. I'll say this. The land space is obviously very strange, and a lot of people don't really pay it much attention.
Sure.
But I'm on a mission to bring this mainstream. Like,
Heck yeah.
I really think no one knows the exact math, but I think there's approximately like 3,000 to 5,000 land investors that are doing at least one deal per year.
Yeah.
There's probably like 300 or 400 that are doing it at any reasonable scale. Compare that to like fix and flipping, house wholesaling.
Everybody and their grandmother. Yeah.
There's probably hundreds of thousands of people doing that. Dude, and the crazy thing is, I did a presentation last week and I was gathering some stats beforehand. Only 4% of all the land in America is like metro land, like in the metropolitan area that's actually developed. And so we just have a ton of raw land in this country. So there's so much opportunity. I'm excited.
Yeah. Every time I fly across the country, I'm always like looking out the window and I'm seeing all these plots of land and squared out and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, we have so much land. They're not making any more of it, right? But it's out there and people acquire it. They come into it from family. It's left down to them or whatever. And some people just don't know what to do with it and so forth. And it becomes valuable. So somebody like yourself can come in with the knowledge, the expertise, and be able to create opportunity for both sides. Yeah. So talk to me, man. Anybody out there that doesn't know who you are, your background, where you're from and so forth, and how you got into flipping dirt, let the listeners know.
Yeah. So kind of inside baseball if you're not from California, but I was born in Big Sur, California, super rural town, Central Coast.
Come on.
Yeah. My mom had me when she was 18, super alternative situation. My mom was living in a teepee before that, like very out there, cool parents, cool, but very hippie, right?
Okay.
And somehow this weird little capitalist kid was born from two hippies. I was like,
let's go.
Dude, hoorah, business all the way ever since I can remember. It's just in my DNA, man.
Yep.
And yeah, before the age of 24, which is when I started the land business, I had tried so many different businesses. I had a private label, like tactical flashlight company we were selling on Amazon. I opened a gym. I was doing online personal training at one point. I did an internship for Raytheon. I had a book arbitrage business, like buying and selling textbooks, which was actually the most successful business I had ran up.
Wow.
Yeah. At some months we were doing like 1,000 to 1,500 books a month, which is wild. And then I was living in San Diego, 2019. I was in Poway, California. Cool. I was working a dead end sales job. I had been there for a couple months and I was like, all right, I need an escape route. I'm like, I'm not doing this forever. My base salary was peanuts. My commission was tiny. I was getting like 3% commission on cash collected. It was not a great situation. So I was thinking real estate, man. I was listening to Bigger Pockets.
Yep.
doing what everyone does. And I was like, okay, wholesaling seems like the alley I should go down. And so my girlfriend and I, after work, we would just go knock on doors or drop letters in Poway for like the classic defunct house with like a lawn that's unkept and all the usual stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't work, dude. I literally got zero traction after doing it for a couple months. And so I go down the bigger pockets rabbit hole again, and I hear a guy named Jack Bosch, this German dude, talking about land. That sounds pretty interesting. And back in the day, the model's changed a lot since then. I know this is a long answer, but I'll tie it all together. But back in the day, the model was tax delinquent land. It's not really the case anymore. And so I was like, okay, let me go find a tax delinquent list. I started Googling online. And in Elko County, Nevada, see some of like the treasurer's office, sometimes like you have to pay for the list, or like they'll mail it to you in CD-ROM or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But in Elko County, Nevada, they had it CSV file downloaded on the website. So I'm like, all right, I'm working there, and it was free. Wrote like 50 letters, handwritten, sent them out, and I started getting calls. And for me, that was like, my foot was already in the door. I knew.
Yeah, game changing. Yeah.
Right. And the first like real hot lead I got, we didn't end up doing the deal because I didn't know how to underwrite the deal. So I was like,
sure.
It led nowhere. But
they had a problem they wanted to sell, and you're like,
yeah, dude, the son called me, the dad owned the land. They wanted like $1,000 for this 5 acre, which I probably should have bought it, honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was worth. And I had a starting pool of capital of $7,000 to run the business and to buy my land deal. So she's pretty budget. And so after that, I was like, okay, I need some better tools. I got a tool called Data Tree through First American. I said, screw the tax delinquent list. Let me just market to regular folks. And I went to Nye County, Nevada. It's west of Las Vegas, little town called Rupp. Really weird place. Sent 1,000 letters, got my first deal. Husband and wife from San Francisco. They wanted to take a trip to the Philippines. They sold me this little 1/4 acre lot, no utilities, like terrible property. I bought it for $1,027. I sold it for $2,400 on Facebook Marketplace 3 weeks later. And I was like an addict, dude. It was like needle in the arm. I'm hooked, dude.
Yeah.
That was the origin story, and I've never looked back.
That's so funny. So talk to me about like the marketing piece of it. Like when you get it under contract and so forth, you just paid for it. So you actually closed on the deal yourself, and then you started marketing it.
Yeah. So the model looks really different now. So I spent the last few years after interest rates changed in 2022.
Sure.
The business kind of fell apart. So I've like reinvented what I call like land investing 2.0. So it's this mid-market flipping model, which we'll talk about as we get a little deeper. But back in the day, all I did is I would send out what's called a blind offer. So there was a 2-page letter, purchase agreement. The front one was like, I'll pay you X amount.
Yep.
And people would sell us the land and we would cash close on it. See, back then though, I was only doing like sub $10,000 acquisition. So it was like buy for 1,000, sell for 3,000. And about half those deals we would sell on owner financing terms. So you find someone on Facebook Marketplace, for whatever reason, they want to buy a piece of land in the middle of nowhere. It's cheap and they just like an impulse purchase.
It makes them feel like a real estate investor and they got some land. Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? You through that process, I realized that land is so like in the fabric of this country. Like everyone wants to own land, whether you're a first generation immigrant or your family's lived here forever.
True.
It's like a status symbol. Like I've got my security, I got my land. So anyways, you're kind of trying to do that. Now, the deals that we do nowadays, very, very different. So our average deal is worth somewhere around 25,000 to about $250,000. That's the market. And
so you started going for more expensive ones, not the 1,000 to 10. Okay.
You see that cheap model, I scaled it up to 240 deals per year in my head.
Really?
Yeah, it was, dude, insane. It was me and one VA. Just imagine.
Okay. It was cool. But the problem is it's like it's all this work for smaller, little bits of it. And you're like, hey, I want to go to the next level.
Totally. And I was like, dude, if it works on small stuff, why won't it work on big stuff? And it does. It is quite different, but it's different. Still does work. What also the problem with that though is I would never get these big pops of cash or like a big liquidity event to where I could take that money and grow the business. Okay, now I got 50 grand from one deal, grow the team, grow marketing. So like on this revolving hamster wheel, and I couldn't grow. I did get that business to about 25 grand a month of recurring revenue from our note portfolio.
Okay, because you were doing seller financing back to the
So about half our deals were seller financing, other half were cash. So like, a good month we might make 30 to 50 grand in that business, but like I couldn't see a way to growing it.
What about bad months? Like was there people defaulting on their payments? How did that look?
The default rate on that kind of segment of the market is vicious, dude. In the first year, you might have 30 to 40% of those notes default. If they make it past the first 12 months, it's a pretty good stick rate. It's probably like 10% thereafter. And the thing is, like, the note game looks passive, but it's not. Like, you're getting people on a Sunday night saying, dude, how do I use the coordinates to get to my property? Luckily, our expenses were sub that 20, 25 grand of recurring revenues. We never lost money, but it has peaks and troughs for sure. So the deals we do now are kind of in that middle of the market, and we kind of break down every deal into 3 buckets. The first bucket is cash, close, and flip. That's still our bread and butter. That's about half the deals that we do, and we just self-fund our own deals.
Okay.
The second bucket would be some kind of value add. Now, that might be curative title, solving title problems. That might be what we call like an exemption-based subdivide, which is our bread and butter, because almost every deal we do is outside of city limits, super rural. So
really? Okay.
Yeah. Like, for example, I just listed a deal yesterday. It's a subdivide. I believe it's 50 acres. We chopped it up into 5, 10 acres. We sell off the child lots. That's a great business.
Yeah.
And then the remaining deals are double closes. So it's like either margins compressed or the deal is just funky and we don't know what to underwrite it at. We'll put EMD down, walk the seller through the terms. Most sellers are totally cool with it. And then we'll go find a buyer. Yeah.
Okay. And then the double closing, is that just to make sure that they don't get too wiggly on when they see how much you're making?
Yeah, the interesting thing is land sellers are so different than house sellers, and I haven't done that much in the house world, but land sellers are like so detached from their property. It's a very little intrinsic value to them. Like, your house that you live in means way more to you than that.
Different. Yes.
That land in Nevada you've never been to. So, like, we are super forthright in our process. Like, we put all of our cards on the table. We're like, hey, we're giving you X. If we make money beyond that, are you okay with it? Yeah. Okay, cool. We've got a list of buyers. We're going to play matchmaker. So people are totally cool with it.
Cool. That's awesome.
We always put EMD down. So we always put earnest money down, have some skin in the game, and to bolster that contract, make sure the contract's strong. In some cases, we'll file a memorandum of contract. We don't always do that, though. And then during that process, the average double...
And that's just for protection for you, just in case if they try shopping around or try doing something weird. I've seen people with the flipping game do that, and it protected them. And others who don't, it doesn't. So that's very smart.
Here's the thing. Even with the memorandum of contract, if money hasn't changed hands and you don't have some EMD, that contract...
it's a void.
Yeah, exactly. So we always have EMD trade hands, and we make it non-refundable. So it's a quick win for them.
Okay.
The magic of this, and it's usually $500 to $2,000. It's not.
That's the EMD typical average. Okay.
And I'll tell you an example of a deal we just contracted last week that's a little different than that. But from there, what's really important, average double close is 90 to 120 days. Those are the terms we'll get. Some cases we'll get a year, but the average is in there. And then literally every 2 weeks, we do a check-in with them. So email, text, or phone call. And we just make sure that they're involved in the process and they know where we're tracking. And we literally never have any problems with it. But as a counter example to that, last week we're double closing a 330-acre farm, huge farm.
Wow.
About 300 acres of tillable land.
Where's this?
That is, oh goodness, I should know off the top of my head, Iowa.
Iowa. Okay. How many different states are you in?
Yeah. So we have our bread and butter states that like we just hit every month because we know that's where we make our money. We
makes money.
Buyers, etc. But something like a quarter of all of our marketing is kind of like in the new market discovery.
Sure. Trying to stir things up. Yeah.
Yeah. But for the most part, we're in like 10 to 12 states max.
Cool.
And we work in like super rural states typically. But what I was going to say about that deal, it's a double close. We got it contracted at 2.2 million. Agent just underwrote it at 2.7. We'll probably sell it like at 2.6. And that one we're putting $2,000 EMD to start, but we've got 30 days of due diligence before that money goes hard. And then we've got 6 months on this contract, and every month an additional $2,000 goes hard. So we're doing it in phases.
Sure.
I forget what the total amount is on that, but it's, over $10,000 on that deal. So there are edge cases, but that's kind of the situation.
Now, how long is it taking for once you get it under contract, or because you're not buying that one straight out, you're just double ending it. So how long are those taking on the market to actually be able to get rid of?
Yeah. So when we get a new contract on the acquisition side, first thing that we do before we list it, we go and open up title, make sure it's got a clean bill of health. Then we move forward with the listing.
Sure.
Right now, blended average for the year is about 21.75 days. So call it sub 30 days, which is
crazy, dude. That's crazy.
But okay, I'll tell you why this happens. Now, this deal is really big. It might take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But the first thing that we do, so like part of why I built Land Insights was because you can work in any market in America for buying land, but most of them are garbage. So what we look for are high sell-through markets where about 100% of the inventory turns over every 12 months as a bare minimum. So for example, there's 200 active listings. We need to see 200 sales in the last 12 months. It's 100% sell-through rate. But a lot of the market, and when we say market, I mean a county. A lot of the counties are turning over all of the inventory every 6 months. So these are like what I call non-obvious high demand markets. I'm not working in the outskirts of Dallas. That's obvious.
Yeah. When it takes like 3-4 years or something crazy, right? Like, yes. Okay.
And there's a ton of supply there listed. And there's so many people marketing that sellers are super savvy. You see, we go to the middle of nowhere where if I showed you one of these counties, you say, why are people buying land there?
Why are we getting land here? Why are we working here? Yeah.
They're insane. Like there's markets right now that are honey holes in America where land is just flying off the shelves. The other thing is we look for this Goldilocks zone for how much supply there is. So it's like 25 active listings is our floor up to like 300 active listings. I'll tell you why. If you don't have enough active inventory, you're not going to have enough sold data to underwrite the deals. And that's part of the magic of land is knowing how to value it. It's way harder than houses. But if there's too much supply, and we sell everything through the MLS with agents, there's too much supply, your listing gets lost in the shuffle and people just don't see it, right?
Sure.
So half our battle with why we can sell our deals quickly is because we are freaks about selecting the market, right? And that's why I initially built Land Insights. And then the other half of that is what we do on the dispo side, which is pretty magical. And we can talk about that.
Yeah. I want to talk about the magic behind this, like the marketing piece behind it. It sounds like you just explained how you go after some of these deals, finding the market. And then it's kind of just like you said, it's like a honeypot. Like you have all these different opportunities and options right in front of you. So that's easy for you to capture. But then afterwards, how are you guys marketing and getting these things sold?
Yeah. So I've tried every strategy under the sun. Myself on Facebook and land.com and like all of it. And what I've determined is the MLS is where the magic happens.
Really? Yeah. Wow.
We get almost all cash offers on there. A lot of the other channels you're getting owner finance offers.
Yeah.
And you get buyers that are deeper in the funnel. You see, when I was listing on land.com or Facebook, you get like people that are just starting to make their like come to the idea of maybe I want to buy land.
Sure.
On Zillow or Redfin or whatever, people are like, yeah, I already know I want to buy land and I'm going to make you an offer on your deal. So like later stage buyers. And then what we do is we list everything with realtors. I used to do flat fee MLS.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So
with agents.
Why is that?
Yeah, because what I learned is people don't buy land unless they are walked and shown the property. But the problem is most land doesn't have a situs address, at least land we're buying. So the prospective buyer needs coordinates. And then they get out there, they don't even know what are the four corners on the property. What the heck am I looking at? And so when we select an agent, we look for land-specific agents. There's brokerages out there that just focus on land, like Whitetail Properties, Mossy Oak. We usually work with those kinds of agents.
Okay.
When we work with these agents on the front end, we say, look, we build out all the listing assets. We build all of that out, and I'll talk about that here in a second. You don't do anything there because most agents aren't good at the marketing side.
Sure.
All we need you to do is pick up the phone when people call, follow up with verbal offers, and show the property. That's all we need from you.
That's it.
And so they're like, yeah, sweet. I love it. Now, for us, when we list the properties, we have a super crazy standardized process. It does not change on any deal. So inside of Land Insights, we built this feature. It's actually patent pending right now. That's called instant drone photos. So to sell land, you need an aerial view. No one buys with boots on the ground photos. We used to spend $400-$500 on drone photos. Now with AI, it does it instantly. For $25, we build out our listing assets just with AI. These are like literally the prettiest photos you've ever seen. Like, and maybe I can share an example after. I'm not sure. Maybe you can put it in the show notes or however.
That's cool.
The viewers can get a sense. From there, every listing has 25 photos. We found that that's the sweet spot. And we found that the first 4 to 5 photos have to tell the full story of the property.
100%. Yeah, that's good.
That magical cover photo that gets the click. And then the remaining 4 or 5 photos got to tell the full story. So picture of the well casing, picture of the road, picture of aerial view of the property. Any of the features have to be shown there. Then the copy is going to answer any potential objection that could come up. But
let me ask about the other features. Like, what other typical features could there be? Is it like I mean, it's land, here is dirt, you know?
Right. The way I look at it is every property has a story to tell.
Sure.
Dealing with consumers, it's not a B2B sale. They're very emotional. And so look at if the property's got redwoods or special pine trees and maybe no physical improvements, we're taking photos of that. I'm going to take a photo from the frontage road that shows you the access point. Okay. If there's any kind of improvement, grading, or someone put a building pad or utilities or whatever, we're going to photograph that. And then we're going to always have the cover image, which is like most of the cover images with the instant drone photos.
Sure.
Taken at sunset, even though it's AI.
Yeah.
And so immediately you're getting the best look of the property.
Yeah, I gotcha.
All of these photos are labeled. So like we'll label the road, we'll highlight, hey, over here is this feature. It's like they're very informationally dense, just visually.
Yeah.
So that's what hooks the folks in. And then the copy is about answering any of the potential objections, which is like, does it have utilities? What can I do on it, et cetera? And then we always have a call to action. And most people don't do this on the MLS. The call to action is schedule a showing. And if you don't tell people what the next step is, they don't know what to do.
They don't know. They just sit around. Yeah. You gotta guide people.
Yeah.
I love that. So the agent, so you've tried the flat fee of what, the $97 or whatever, trying to do it yourself. And it probably just created a bunch of chaos, you know, with people calling in and it was just wonky, I'm sure.
Here's the thing on the flat fee MLS. It's a little weird. So you pay it's either 97 or 297, depending on the state and the service.
Sure.
Somewhere in that territory. The interesting thing is you're still paying a commission to the buyer's agent, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, why not just pay it to our own agent and just make it cleaner and get the boots on the ground?
Yep.
And what I found is a lot of these third-party MLS flat fee listing tools, they don't always route the leads to you. So like a third of our leads they're like, dude, I've been calling you, and they have a route.
Really?
Yeah, but stuff would get lost in the shuffle. And then also we have these buyer's agents that might be like a residential agent that has a client buy land, and they don't know how to get to the property. They don't know how to get coordinates or whatever. So it's just a real big mess. So instead of paying 3% to the buyer's agent, we find our own listing agent. We pay him 6 points, depends on the price point of the deal. It's typically right. And then we just cook off of there. It's
you get some help. You can negotiate the price in advance, and you get somebody actually doing the work, which is great. Yeah.
One actually real quick asterisk to add too. Not all of our deals, but I would say some percentage, maybe a quarter of our deals, have some weird funkiness on them, which we buy sight unseen, to where you need someone to walk the property to see what's going on. Maybe it's a blown out meth lab, or it's a hunting blind, or a cat. And so it's like, how do I underwrite that without being there? You know what I mean? So that's also beneficial on the front end. The agent can walk the property and give us boots on the ground info.
Okay, so even before you even purchase it, you're utilizing that agent.
Yeah. So I don't try to delay contracting it. We contract, then we figure out. But like we're always approximately very close to being right. So we'll contract and then figure it out. And then in a lot of these markets, our bread and butter, we just keep on working there. So we're vertically integrated. We got the agents, the title company, whatever else we might need. Walk it.
When it comes down to the contract piece of it before closing, how long until you typically close on the front end? Brian?
Yeah. So when we're talking to sellers on the phone, we always make a range offer. So we always have 2 offers. The first offer is our quick close cash offer. That's usually like 21 to 30 days. So we're going to take title. We're going to make it super easy for them. And it's like true white glove experience. We make it so easy. And the amount that's shown in that offer is truly what they net. No surprises, no hidden costs. We cover everything. If it's a double close, again, it's like 90 to 120 days is what we contract, but we're usually closing way faster than that because we're going to find a buyer typically faster.
I love that. That's awesome, man. Talk to me about the team size right now.
So in the land business, I just was on a meeting yesterday. We've got 20 people, exactly as what it showed on the meeting. Right now, we just hired our 4th acquisition manager. This is an acquisition business. The value's created in the acquisition. So that's what most of our team is. Acquisition managers are all US based, and then the rest of the team is kind of blended overseas. We have a COO, kind of an ops guy. He was my first person I hired from Pakistan.
Really?
Yeah. He actually moved to Bali to be closer too, which is really cool. So now he lives in Bali.
And he was from Pakistan initially?
Yeah, from Lahore,
Okay.
Pakistan. He used to work for this taxi company that was out of the UK, managed a pretty big team for them, just kind of had like managerial experience.
Yeah.
And he's been with us for 5.5, 6 years now. So like he's really risen through the ranks.
Come on.
We've got another kind of manager that sits side by side with him that does more of like the dispo side of things.
Yeah.
The rest of the team is broken down. We've got a cold call team. We do some texting. So we have a texting team. We have like a disposition listing team. We have a sales trainer that manages acquisitions and cold calling. And then just a couple like VAs that help with like loose ends. And those 20 people aren't all full-time, I should disclose. We probably have like 14 or 15 full-time people.
Okay. Gotcha. I love that. And so as far as what it takes from you, like where do you fall into place with this? It sounds like the business is kind of doing its thing, but yeah.
It really is, man. Like I think that, I mean, I've obviously worked my tail off to
build it.
Yeah, I always tell people like you got to chalk up 3 years to the game. Like
at least. Yeah.
3 years of suffering. If you're not willing to do that, don't even talk to me. Like,
don't talk to me. Get out of here. Yeah.
But yeah, at this point, dude, it is the most hands-off business that I run.
Yeah.
My time really goes to typically running one meeting per week. Now these flip-flop bi-weekly. So I am still close with the sales team because I think that's one of my strengths. So bi-weekly I do a sales huddle, and then bi-weekly we do an all-hands meeting that I'm a part of. Now, with that being said, I still manage the managers because what ends up happening is this is a plate spinning business.
Yes.
So we're spinning the acquisition, the marketing, and the disposition plate. I've never had a month where all three plates are successfully spinning.
Yeah,
it's always two out of three, right? So
Amen. That's true.
Stuff is always breaking, and I step in and talk people off the ledge or inform on strategy, but it's very async. You know what I mean? It's like it's here and there. I would say I average about 5 hours per week in the business of like real time.
Okay.
But dude, working is hard to define because I might be on a walk daydreaming, thinking about strategy for hours. I don't know how you do that, you know?
Yeah, that's so true. Talk to me about some of these other parts of the business, like the cold calling, the SaaS project, like what?
Yeah.
How does that kind of intertwine with the land flipping?
Yeah. I mean, it's all kind of like a flywheel in this little ecosystem where we've kind of built like a unintentional monopoly, if you will.
Yeah.
But for me, dude, I'm an entrepreneur with a capital E before I'm a real estate investor. Like real estate's just the widget.
Sure.
And so I can't sit still. I gotta always be building something. It's just what I love to do.
Yep.
And I've started to learn how to bring in people either with equity or comp plans that can be CEO or manager kind of off the rip that can help guide the business. So I'm not so much in the day to day. So for context, just launched the cold calling offer. So it's a call center for real estate investors. We launched that 4 weeks ago. I got a team. I brought in a CEO. I gave him a stake in the business out of the gate. I think as of yesterday, we are at, so I'm going to do some quick math, 55. We're at about $700,000 in ARR in our first 4 weeks.
Wow.
My time is more about finding the people in the beginning, getting people in the right seats, and then letting them cook and just incentivizing strongly out of the gate. I still put a ton of time into Leah, which is our community. That's like my fulfillment thing. Like I just love that. I could be on coaching calls all day. It fires me the hell up. And then Land Insights is kind of my moonshot. I think it's the biggest business I'll build up until this point. We scaled to 7 figures in our first year, multi 7 figures in our second year. It's a rocket ship. And so I'm not like, I live pretty simply. I probably live off $100,000 a year. I'm not like super materialistic, but I want $100 million exit. Like I want to shoot for the moon. And I think that's the business that we do it in.
Come on. I love that, man. Talk to me about the trials over the years of getting to this point, you know, where you're at now. Like what big hiccups have you experienced, and is, you know, something that might be relevant to somebody that, you know, is trying to come up and do the same thing?
Yeah, dude. I just did a webinar on this last week. So I kind of define this, like we're in a transition in the land space between what I'm calling land investing 1.0 and land investing 2.0. This is the new era we're in. So this business made a super small pond, but when I first got started, the idea here was that we're just taking advantage of easy arbitrage. And it was literally no technique, no strategy. It was all you needed was the theory, which is mail discounted offers, talk to on call, flip the deal.
It's different.
Yeah, that easy arbitrage doesn't exist anymore, but there's still so much fruit in the tree. Just kind of got to reach a little higher, you know?
Yep.
And so really like kind of what I mark as the dividing line is the end of 2022, the fall of 2022. So it's really interesting. I had found I was started a new relationship in 2022 in the fall, and her and I wanted to kind of test drive our relationship. So we're like, you know what, let's go to Hawaii for a month together, cohabitate, see how we do together. And so on that trip, my land business literally effing imploded.
Really?
Interest rates went crazy, like pretty much
Yes.
overnight. Our model's a little different now, but we were buying a lot of what's called like infill properties in places like Phoenix or what have you. And when these interest rates jumped, the buyers were just gone. Like there was just no one there to buy these things. They couldn't
Yep.
get reasonable loans for new home construction or financing the property. And so I had over $1 million of lands that I couldn't find buyers for. And a lot of those deals we had lending on. So I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? And up until that point, dude, I had kind of created like these golden handcuffs for myself where I was like I was like everyone in my friend group and like my lenders and all these people in my little ecosystem. I was the man because I was making money hand over fist. And so I was like this whiz kid. I even had one of our funders that quit his job to just fund our deals full time. And all of a sudden, I'm the guy that can't sell land. And so I had like an identity crisis. And even in this new relationship, I'm like, she thought I was like this breadwinner and this like successful guy. I'm like, my business is effing imploding, you know?
Yeah.
And at that same time, that was September of 2022 is when I launched the community. So I got these people looking at me for advice, and I'm like, I don't even know what the answer is. And so what happened is from September of 2022 to June of 2023, I just went psycho, man. What I did is I went through every deal I had done up until that point, which is probably like 400, 500 deals. And I looked for the outliers. So this business is like Pareto principle 80-20, which is like a tiny minority of your deals, your markets, your sellers will make up the majority of your revenue. And so I just started looking for like why did some deals make us 50 grand and others made us 5 grand? And I started to find these patterns in the markets that we worked in, the price point, the kinds of deals, the sellers, et cetera. And that's actually what led me to build Land Insights. And the first iteration of Land Insights was just a market research tool. Now it's kind of handles everything cradle to grave. And that was my first big unlock is instead of just randomly sending offers to markets, I started finding these high demand markets where I knew there was someone on the other end that wanted to buy the deals. And that slowly started to kind of dig us out of this hole. And then the next unlock from there was, I guess, kind of becoming an expert at acquisitions. I don't know if I can claim that. But before it was like I was doing most of the sales. I would get a call. I'd have maybe 1, maybe 2 calls to close the deal and I was off to the races. But during that time, sellers caught on. Now they want 2021 prices.
Yeah.
Caught up, and I'm like, the market's not even there anymore. So I had this crazy mismatch. And so I just realized I need to become a beast at acquisitions. And sellers will sell at the right price, but you first need to pre-qualify and find the right sellers that actually have a problem and spend time with those folks, and then be willing to bear the sales cycle. Some of these deals take us a year to put together, and I wasn't able to do that before. So
most people don't have the patience for that, you know?
Yeah. So I think that was like the biggest hardship that I faced in this business for sure. Many other personal struggles, but in terms of the business, that was the biggest one.
Yeah, that's good, man. I appreciate the vulnerability and the transparency there. You know, when the interest rates went up, there's so many, so many people struggling, commercial real estate and everything, syndications, bunch of things. So there's you're not the only one. And it really just defines the entrepreneur that you are, though, by how you adapt. You looked for the outliers, you looked for it and you found it. And then now it creates this new thing. And it also gets you laser beam focused. The 80-20 rule is so surreal. It's so real. And so it's like focus on, it's just what you do in those tough seasons. It really creates the man of, who you are. That identity crisis too, man. It's such a real thing that people, we get into this routine when we are the one within our circle, then it's a humbling experience. And I don't wish it on anybody, but that's why, I'm a big advocate of surround yourself with legends, like invest in yourself to get to be the smallest person in your circle.
Let me add something to that note, man. Because this is still something that I struggle with even right now to this day. And this is by no means not to toot my horn at all. But like I found, especially in that moment in my sphere, I was the guy people were going to with questions. I didn't have someone that I could go to with questions.
Yes.
And my ego was so wrapped up in being the guy that I
Yep.
couldn't confide in anyone. And I still struggle with that, like finding the rooms where you are the smallest fish and
Yeah.
you have peers that can guide you and have been there. And I've really spent the last few years seeking that out. And some of the people that I speak to now, like on a weekly basis, aren't even entrepreneurs. So, like, I have a guy, for example, that I meet with. His name is Steve. He's in his late 60s.
My man, Steve.
My man,
Yeah.
let me tell you about this guy, Steve, real quick. Steve travels the US coaching people for free, does not accept money. He's a life coach that does, it's the most insane thing.
Yeah.
He just knows good things will happen. And he really lived like, he's like a Jesus almost. Like this guy
Yeah.
goes out there doing good works.
Come on.
Yeah. And so I meet with this guy every week, and it's not always about business. It's just about collecting wisdom and having people that you can lean on. I think it's so valuable, for real.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, most people won't give their time, and also, like, price is what you pay most of the time, value is what you get, So I'm a big, like, you got to pay attention. I'm a big advocate of that. But I like that, man. If it's all about the value and the exchange, if you show up and you play full out from somebody who's already been there and done it, like, you can find the gold in everything. So I love that, man. What do you think about the market currently, and what's the future look like for you guys?
Oh, such a good question. I don't like.
Who's got the crystal ball? Come on.
I know. I'm like the last guy to predict that. Honestly, I'd be lying if I had the answers. Here's what I'll say. I think it stays at this level or maybe gets incrementally worse before it gets better. That's my hunch. And so for me, it's like there's seasons.
That's right.
Yeah, there's seasons where you plant seeds and there's seasons where you harvest.
Yep.
We're still doing well, and I think this will still be our best year, but it's a freaking grind, dude.
It's a grind.
Coming easy right now, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, dude, if I can keep my head above water, I can weather the storm, I can manage cash flow, I can keep expenses low. I know there's a boom at some point. Who knows when it happens?
Yeah.
So for me, it's just survival.
Yeah.
And I'm planting seeds and I'll collect those at some point. Where the industry is going, I think in this space, there's going to be a consolidation of power, if you will. I don't think you're ever going to get like private equity or like big players in this space, but I'm seeing the gap between the haves and the have-nots really widening in this space. And so I'm trying to be on the have side of the
Yeah. Yeah. Amen. Yeah. Get on that side.
Dude, obviously everyone's talking about it, but what's going on with AI, I think, is super fascinating on two levels. One, real estate is so antiquated, like there's guys that are still using the county GIS to run their business or Google Maps or what have you.
Yeah.
So the evolution in tools is just insane. And I obviously use Land Insights for everything. So like I get an edge there. And then actually this coming Monday, we release our MCP integration with Land Insights. So now Claude or ChatGPT can run all of your workflows. So you can start building out these agentic teams. And where I think that's interesting is if you're brand new, you can pause hiring and build out these agentic workflows. Because in Land Insights, we use it to select our markets, to aggregate our data, to lead score our data, to make our offers, to comp our deal. Like it does everything.
Yeah.
You can build these workflows that just happen. Hey, every Tuesday, pull my markets based off these qualifications. So new person, you can delay hiring. Or if you already have a team like us, it's just a force multiplier for those people. And I just don't think most people are adopting this stuff fast enough that at least not my peers, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to be on the bleeding edge of that. So yeah, I'm like super excited with what's happening there. The other thing that I've seen, I've only been in this game for 7 years, so limited experience. But when the world gets scary, I think people flock to rural recreational land, and that's the asset class that we play in. So when the world's spooky, you want that 40-acre ranch to raise your kids, grow your food. It's an investment. It's a hedge against inflation.
Yep.
I don't think the world is getting less weird. I think it's getting more weird.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, and I think more and more people are realizing that city life is not all that it's cracked up to be, and you can now work remotely. So I think that there's an underlying demand for rural land, dude, and you see it with the homesteading movement or the trad wife movement. People want that more traditional way of living. So I think we're gonna ride that wave, but TBD, we'll see.
Yeah, no, I everything that you just mentioned, like it definitely aligns. It makes sense. It's exciting to see. It's awesome to have you on today, man. It was such a blessing. It's cool to see where you've come from to where you are today, and what you're up to. It's super impressive, and it's really just the beginning, man. It's just the beginning.
Thank you.
So That's awesome.
Before we close out, I think you're getting to the closing part here, I'd imagine. But do you have any, or maybe the audience on Facebook, I'm not sure, any technical in the weeds questions, anything tactical I can help with, or you feel like this is a good jumping off point? Because I'll go as deep as people want.
Yeah. If there's anything that you recommend that, for before we get out of here, you tell me.
Here's what I'll do. I think that there's again, this business there's a learning curve. There's probably a 6 to 12 month learning curve, and it can feel intimidating. And I think a lot of the marketing channels that were preached and taught historically require a ton of capital outlay, 60 plus cents nowadays. So it can feel intimidating if you're on a shoestring budget. What I'm finding right now with beginners is if you guys are willing to pick up the phone and cold call people yourself, there's a huge opportunity where you can start with literally peanuts. And I actually did this as an experiment myself. I did 30 days of cold calling a few years ago. I was cold calling in Joshua Tree, California for 5 acres, these little rural properties. Contracted 2 deals, sold those 2 deals, made 20 grand, just doing 100 dials a day by myself, nothing special. And so I built out this thing called the 7-day first deal challenge. And every single day, it's a module and action plan that kind of step-by-step walks you through what you need to do to go and get your first deal. I think it's the most non-intimidating way to get started. And it's kind of based on the foundation of you calling people yourself. You won't do that forever. But dude, if you can go get a $20,000 rip on one deal, that could really be a launch pad. So I'll shamelessly plug it. It's a 7-day challenge. It's $24. It's all hosted inside of school. I think it's a great place to start. If you're not willing to invest $24, you're probably not very serious about this business. So I think there's a way for folks to get started that's a lot less intimidating or requires less capital than you might think. So I'd recommend folks start there. It's my shameless plug.
I love it. Yeah, feel free to drop that over to me as well. I'll put it in the show notes. But man, what an incredible episode. I appreciate you being on today. How else can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, I got a unique name, so pretty easy to find. Just Sumner Healey on Instagram or Sumner Healey on YouTube. We're super active on YouTube, 2 videos per week kind of thing. I've been doing that for years and years and years. So that's the other thing. If you don't have 2 pennies to rub together, go to YouTube. It's a great launch pad.
Yes, 100%. I love it. Well, guys, Sumner is a wealth of knowledge, really actively doing it. So reach out to him if you have any questions on the land flipping, really getting your first deal together on the flipping dirt side of things, which is awesome. And then, guys, if you want to get a hold of me, you can always do so on Instagram. It's Brandon Elliott Investments. Otherwise, on Instagram, our business page, Credit Counsel Elite. If you guys are looking for funding, that's what we do. We teach our members how to be able to get massive amounts of funding up to $500,000 with interest rates as low as 0% and how to repeat it every 6 months per person, getting up to 90% approval odds, the highest limits possible, and the best terms and conditions. It's not all credit cards, but 0% is going to be in the form of credit cards. So we can show you how to get all types of financial products, over 400 different ones, through the banks. So if you are looking for more information on that, we give it to you all for free. Check it out at Credit Counsel. That is Credit Counsel Elite. I'd be honored to help you there. And then if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I don't even know what to say anymore. You stop that nonsense right now. Go hit that subscribe button to Ready, Set, Go REI podcast. That's Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing podcast. Hit that subscribe button right now so you get the newest notification every single Monday when the new episode drops, like this one. And you leave that 5-star review afterwards. All right. We love you so much. Enjoy your week. Get out there, crush it. And we'll catch you next time. God bless. Peace out. Fire, man. That was a good episode.
Yeah, man, you got great energy. I love it, Brandon. Some of these people I get on with podcasts, they're so
fun, huh?
Yeah, some of them are so boring, man. Good energy. I love it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Anything that I could do for you or connect you with anyone?
I think I don't know. I think you're doing the 0% credit card financing stuff, right?
Yeah. We teach people how to get funding.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Perhaps coming and speaking to the community. I know we have some folks that are using have you heard of the plastic with a Q?
Yeah, for liquidating.
Yeah, so they are wiring out, closing on smaller land deals with it. Yeah, it could be relevant to the group. Maybe credit card point maxing with that as well. It's kind of like
dude, how I got started in real estate was just using credit cards, 0% interest to buy the properties, complete the renovations. We've done it with $1 million properties now too in San Diego. It's wild.
Wow. Okay. I mean, dude, that could be an opportunity if you ever wanted to
How many people are in your community?
Yeah, so we've worked with about 1,000 people since we launched. We had our high ticket community, $10,000 a year. We actually turned that off in December. we're relaunching our back end offer later this year. Right now, we have obviously the low ticket, it's a $24 7-day challenge. And then what's called Leah 2.0, it's mid ticket, it's like $300 a month.
Nice.
So between those two, the old high ticket and the existing mid ticket, probably about 500, 600 people active in there.
Heck yeah.
Probably get 75 to 100 people live and a couple hundred people watching it thereafter.
Yeah.
These are like high intent, serious people, well capitalized, etc. So it'd be relevant.
Dude, I would love to. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Let me do this. I'll put my team member Juan's email in the chat. So if you want to just email him, we can just kind of schedule a time. So we run 2 calls per week, Monday at 4 p.m. PST, Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. PST. Probably that Monday call, because I actually run that one myself, would be ideal.
Heck yeah. Yeah, dude, that'd be fun.
I'll put that in the chat. Then I also put the 7-day challenge link in the chat. And then I'll add one more thing that's relevant. So on Land Insights, we have a free no subscription plan that people can start with. No hidden cost, anything like that. It's landinsights.co/light, LITE. So I'll put that in the chat too if you want to.
Heck yeah, dude.
Put it in the old show notes. And then next time I'm in San Diego, man, if this is well received, we can run it back in person.
Let's do it. 100%, man. That'd be fun. And then next time I gotta visit you in Elliott.
I cannot recommend it enough. You should visit. You just let me know.
Yeah, my wife's pregnant right now with our first, and so I really wanted to go to Bali just a couple months ago. We went to Africa instead. We did like a safari tour in Egypt and stuff like that. But yeah,
that's actually, so my next big trip, I think when I go beginning of next year, is Africa. I want to do the gorilla trekking.
Yeah.
Is it Uganda? I can't remember where it is. I might be.
We did Kenya. There's two, like one of the best safaris in the world, I guess, is over there, and so we did 2 over there. That was pretty sick. It was cool.
Yeah, dude, Africa is it's like the last place that I haven't explored yet. So it's definitely
get out there.
Gorilla trekking or just a safari?
We did 2 different safaris. We got to go to a sanctuary for gorillas, and then we. Besides that, we were checking out a bunch of lions and like all the other animals out kind of in packs. So that was kind of cool.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
When's your wife due?
In November 16th.
Nice. So how are you feeling about it? Nervous, excited, ready?
Yeah, dude, we've been praying for it for years. So we're excited. Like, we're excited. I grew up without like a father. I met mine at 18 years old in court so he could stop paying child support. So it's just like the not have kind of like is scary, but we built our business intentionally. Like everything's been intentional. Like we're set up, we're ready, but
nice.
Yeah.
I'm close to that chapter myself. I got to propose first, maybe in the next couple months,
but
I'm ready to be a dad. And the same thing, like I knew my dad, but we had a horrible relationship growing up. So I kind of want to rewrite the narrative.
Heck yeah. 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 I got a baby boy on the way. So God works in different ways of like, so it's cool.
I'm excited for it. Well, it's so nice to meet you, Brandon.
Likewise, dude.
See you, brother.
All right, man. See you, brother.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, God bless.